Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
It is 8 o'clock on the start of a Tuesday. Good morning to you. Happy Election Day. Welcome to Second Cup. This is my favorite day of the entire year. I don't care what anything else what happens. I love Election Day.
Uh-huh.
Do you know why I love Election Day? Because it is the one time where if you are so fed up or if you've just absolutely had it with the nonsense that happens in our government, that you can say, I choose you. Whether they win or lose.
You say that kind of stuff all the time. I don't know why today's any different.
Well, but like, it's so inherent, and it's so, like, it is our God-given right by being Americans that we are allowed to cast a ballot. And I think that's the coolest thing in the entire world.
Well, I have to say, we were surprised. I was surprised. I say we. By the early voting numbers.
Good or bad?
I just felt like more people would have early voted.
Okay, fair.
And I know that they don't expect a big turnout for this election. And I think that that's bad too. Like, I really wish people would go vote.
And that's my thing. Like, if you live in the city of Buffalo, you must, with a capital M-U-S-T, like all caps yelling at you, you have to go. You have to vote. Find the time today. It takes 2 seconds to go cast a ballot. And here's why. Because for the first time in 20 years, you are electing somebody who is not Byron Brown.
Okay, so in Erie County, this is from the Board of Elections, right? So there were 9 days of early voting. 37,170 people early voted in all of Erie County.
Okay.
8,222 in Buffalo. Like, that is so small to me.
Right, that's nothing.
I don't know. Early voting is just so convenient, I think. And maybe there's a lot of people like, I just like election day. And you get time off from work, too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they take their few hours off of work and stuff. Or they just, like, factor it into their day.
Just go.
I like the early voting.
Can you imagine leaving this election in the city of Buffalo to 8,000 people?
Right, that's great. And that's just the early number, so there'll be people today who vote, too. But, like, let's say another 8,000 people come out. I don't know. I'm just, like, throwing out a number. That's only 16,000.
Right, which is crazy.
Right.
And so here's the thing. If you've had enough, there's a Republican on the ticket. If you don't want a Republican, there's a Democrat on the ticket. If you don't like either of those two candidates, there's an independent.
Yeah.
And for the first time in the longest time, we're talking 2 decades, you have the opportunity to make a change.
Yeah.
And it's not an incumbent. It's not somebody who...
Right, it's all new options.
Exactly.
I mean, some are politicians, right? But new options for this office.
I think this is the coolest thing in the entire world. And I love voting. I voted early on Saturday. Oh my God, poor Ada. She was working the polling site. I told you this story, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Poor Ada is one of the election workers, and she's like, oh my God, Ed Dranch is here, blah, 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 making this whole big deal. And I'm like, okay, Ada, my girl, love you, thank you for watching, but you're making my head too big. Well, anyway, I'm like, hey, I'm Ed, it's nice to meet you. What's your name? She goes, Ada, and sticks her hand out. And I'm like, hey, Ada, nice to meet you. I give her a good handshake, like a good Ed Dranch handshake. And she goes, ow, and pulls her hand away. And I'm like, oh my God, Ada, are you okay? What just happened? Like, I thought she was joking, and I was very upset about this. And she goes, I just had surgery on my hand.
Poor thing.
So,
yes. I took little baby Logie on Sunday to early vote. I was like, we're voting.
Love that.
The ladies were enamored.
Of course.
And he was like, looking very confused at first, like, where am I? I've never been in this place before. And then he saw the ladies and then kind of looked at me and I'm like, yeah, look. And then he's like, gives a little smile. Yeah, they were like,
jerk.
oh, so cute. And then the one woman knew like 10 people who lived on my street.
Oh, that's so
She's like,
funny.
do you know this person, this person, this person, this person? And like we knew all the opposite people. So she was so funny. She goes, well, get to know him. Yeah, get to know her. She's a good person to know. I was like,
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Sherry, good morning to you. Change can be good. Absolutely. Noreen, vote for the person, not the political party. Okay, Noreen, I'm going to ask you to dig in here because I'm really interested. Do you live in the city of Buffalo? And what are your thoughts about the person who's running and not the party? Because I'm interested, who are you voting for? What is it that attracts you to that person? And perhaps opposite the party
Or
that
maybe
you're in favor of.
if you're not in Buffalo, same question.
Right.
You know? Yeah, I totally agree with that too. Like, sometimes you vote down party lines or, you know, by like, let's say concepts of the parties. But I'm the kind of person, I like watch the interviews and like pay attention to what people say.
Right.
And think about if I agree with that or I think that's a good idea or a bad idea.
You know, here's something that also kind of bothers me about politics, at least local politics. And I thought this was very interesting. When I was looking at my ballot, there was at least one candidate on the ballot who has worked in behind the scenes in Erie County government for a long time.
Okay.
That person now is running unopposed for a position that is for a long period of time. Is this how we find candidates? Do they have to work their way up through the ranks, like work for party bosses, and then they get these jobs?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, they're running unopposed.
Well, somebody could run against them.
Right. But would the party allow that? I don't know.
Here's the other thing that you and I were both saying. I just think it's a different world to politics these days. And I'm not just talking local politics because I think it's different local versus like national politics. But when you think about like how the world has changed over all the decades and everything, like if you ran for president tomorrow, whatever, they're gonna like. It's just there's so much more information on every single person now than there ever used to be, and I think there's a lot of people that don't want to open themselves up for that.
Well, okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People don't want to be in elected office.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm glad that there still are people who do. I don't know.
Here's my question. What happens to Chris Scanlon? Where does Scanlon go?
Oh, yeah. Well, he would still go back to the Common Council, right? I think. Mitch would know the answer to that.
I mean, I guess in theory, but will he?
Yeah, I guess he would have to make. I don't know. Does he make that decision? Does he stay in because he was elected to that? I don't know.
Hi, Paula. Good morning.
I don't know.
LaCandace says, I hate when candidates run unopposed. It shouldn't be allowed. Mark says, are you talking about judges? Most are cross-endorsed. Listen, I'm not saying what position it is, because I certainly don't want to create any drama. I'm just saying that, there are people who have in the past worked for people in government and now have moved on to become a different elected position.
But also, maybe that was always their passion, and they started somewhere else.
Potentially.
Maybe.
That's why I'm asking. Do you have to work your way up? Or is that a thing? I don't know.
You probably do have to work your way up. I think it also depends on the person and the role and all these things. And look at like running unopposed, but that's the thing. Somebody has to decide they want to oppose it. And you got to put somebody up. Yeah.
Are there not enough candidates to run?
And like I'm just saying, do you think that people are like, no thanks?
Right.
Thanks, but no thanks. I don't know.
Noreen says, no, I don't live in Buffalo, but I hate that people vote only on party lines where there's a better candidate that can do the job better.
Interesting.
Judges don't run on a party line; they have to be open to all, is what Linda says. Sure, and I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's a party thing. I'm saying that there is a backstory to this person's candidacy. Like, what more? How did they get to this position? Who is boosting them up? Who is helping them here? Is this political patronage?
I would like to
I had
address the
questions.
comments about Ed being a good president, and I would like to say no, thank you.
I would never be president
Yeah, I know.
because I'm not good with money. I like to spend money. However,
That's fine.
all right, Jordan.
He does like to spend money.
But I think that, when there are financial issues, there are really smart people out there who can deal with that.
Yeah, and I do think you're never going to be an expert on everything.
Right.
And that's an important thing to recognize. You need to have the right people in place. So that's one thing I would say is like sometimes, like when you look at something like an office like president, let's just say like this big office, you have to hope they also have the right people in place who are the experts at X, Y, and Z. I don't know.
It's interesting, though. So here we are. We've got these three candidates, and one of these issues that we're talking about is also crime.
Yeah.
One of the issues with crime focuses now on Chippewa Street, and it's interesting that this kind of a thing happened. Unfortunate that it happened. Interesting that it happened right at the time of the election, because the candidates have all focused on crime. The candidates have all made James Gardner making a stance on crime. Sean Ryan talking about crime as well, the city of Buffalo going down. Acknowledging that there is an overtime issue. Michael Gaynor doing the same thing within the city of Buffalo. And
So
what do we do?
Okay, so I don't know if the people who are with us right now have been down to Chippewa recently, because God knows we haven't. I just feel like I'm past that part of my life at this point in time. It's hard to go with a baby. But that being said,
I did want to go to 67 West after your wedding.
I love 67, and that's why we used to go there all the time. But like all of us had a portion of time in our lives where we would go down there a lot. Honestly, like, okay, it just doesn't work for me right now. Maybe it will again someday. Maybe you'll see me again at 67. But so there was this fatal shooting there the other day, and now the Chippewa Alliance has this proposal that they're putting forward, and they're like, listen, let's make this a pedestrian corridor. That's kind of cool.
I love this idea.
You wouldn't drive down the street there, okay? And then they're saying after 10 o'clock, let's make it just 21. 21 and older.
They'd have private security, which is really smart, controlling who's coming in. And it's not that people would be rejected, I'm sure. It's just that obviously if they're underage, they would be rejected. But
it would be controlling.
It would be crowd control.
Yeah, and it would also open you up to the possibility, and I don't know if this is part of their idea, but like when I think about something like that, I think about like, okay, well, if you had events, maybe if you had this designated area and you have these barriers and you have security, maybe you could do like a party where you could go bar to bar and you could bring a cocktail, you could walk, you could do, I don't know, like maybe it would open up to like concepts like that, like just kind of different things that we don't really have right now that might. And you see these kind of things in other cities.
And if it's working in those other cities, why not try it here?
Right.
So the Chippewa Alliance is meeting with Buffalo Police and the city of Buffalo to go over their ideas and at least discuss. It is.
I guess my question would be to the bar owners and the club owners. You would want to talk to them too and get their concept of how much of their patron, like what percentage of their patrons are under 21. And I'm not saying like illegally drinking. I'm saying because
18
there are
to party, 21 to drink.
Yeah, because there are 18-year-olds who can go down there, and there are some places that cater to that crowd.
Now, let me. The thing you would expect is that the Chippewa Alliance is speaking on behalf of those bar owners, and what they were saying was that the majority of the crime is happening with people who are underage.
Yeah, and so maybe that everybody's on board there, but I guess if you had events that targeted those 18-year-olds, like, and I remember when I was younger, like, the pier was not in Chippewa; it was over like off Furman Boulevard. But like they did nights when I'm gonna say it was like 17, something like teen nights, and our parents would drive us out there, and then you'd carpool back and whatever. But like that was a big deal. So how big of a percentage of business do you feel like you'd be losing? Do you feel like you'd make up for it with this other stuff? You know?
And then there's the opportunity right there, right? Like you have teen nights, and you are specifically catering to a teenage crowd as opposed to
that?
right.
Yeah.
Mark says Chippewa's been like that for a long time. It happens at different times, right? I mean, I how many years ago did I cover? This is probably going back a decade now. Cover that Thanksgiving Eve issue, right?
Well, and that's such a big night.
Exactly.
The night before Thanksgiving.
Well,
right?
and this happened on Halloween. So all of these celebratory nights or days that lead to whatever, the questions become, what do we have to do something, right? We can't just say, sorry, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're putting everyone at risk, even the police officers who are working security down there, patrolling. Yeah, exactly, Marguerite. And you know what's so funny? So some places, I was actually thinking about this, in New York City are now, even like they were once open to traffic, are now pedestrian plazas. I thought that was kind of interesting. Jen says the pier was a ton of fun.
It was so much fun.
Rachel, good morning to you. Thank you so much, Rachel. That is so sweet.
Thanks, Rachel.
We're so grateful for you.
I would once again like to state that this is my Emily Gilmore outfit. Doesn't it look like something that she would have worn in the Gilmore Girls?
The haircut, too.
Now, was she 70 years old on the show? Probably. But I really think it is so cute.
LaCandice, good morning to you. Good for them. The age to drink is 21 anyway. So why are people under 21 in bars? All money is not good money. And I also wanted to go back to another comment here that was made because I thought this was really interesting too. And I've been talking about this as well, just kind of personally. Rosemary's comment, we need to get money out of politics and voting. I mentioned this to you yesterday. And, we were talking about this and, you were like, it's been that way forever. And it's true. But if we took like special interest money out of politics,
You wouldn't have much that, but
I know. But wouldn't it
It's
be
like-
more honest?
maybe, probably. I don't,
This is where my head goes. Like, this is why I stay up late at night thinking about things. Like, I can't sleep because I'm just like, wow, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be great if this happened? Or if I were in charge, this is what I would do.
yikes.
No money. I don't know.
It goes so many. When you think
I
about how
know.
many special interest groups there are, though,
I know.
and they push for all different kinds of things. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
Or do we? I don't know. What do we do?
I don't know.
This is just where my head is.
Well, speaking,
I want to live in utopia.
I know.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Believe me.
I go.
I really don't. You know what kind of feels like utopia? The holidays.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about holiday spending, because I really do think the amount that people are expected to spend this year is high.
Stop, Mom.
Thank you. By the way, Janet, Edward, can you pause that, Jordan? Edward told me that you don't actually like being called Jan. And
It's
I've been
true.
calling you Jan for all these years because he called you Jan. So now I will refer to you as Janet because I was unaware. So rude. Anyways, okay. How much money are we all spending? $890-ish
In total?
in total. Okay, so I did a little breakdown. Look at I brought us into the present box here.
Thank you.
Boop. 262 of those dollars, food and candy, decorations, cards are so expensive.
Okay. Are you doing cards this year?
Yeah, and they're so expensive. I haven't even done them yet, but I can tell you that. And then the rest of it, Jordan. So it was 890, so it was 627, thank you,
Thank you for doing the math.
dollars that we're spending on gifts.
Okay.
$627.
Look, I think that's probably reasonable.
You would. Going to family, friends, and last but not least,
Right.
they say the majority you should spend on your coworkers.
I agree. So what are you buying me? Okay, here's why I think this is probably reasonable. Because if you've got a family of 4 and you're spending about $100 on them, on each person, right? That's
Yeah.
$400 right there.
Yeah. Right.
So then you've got what? $200 left over. You're buying for a couple of friends.
$50 each.
Right.
30,
You're
50
buying
bucks.
for a couple of people at work. You're already spent.
An Apple Watch, a phone. You know what I mean? When I think about that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, welcome.
Now, okay,
I-
so in theory, if you're a family of 4,
No sound. Oh, the sound is fixed.
okay, let's say you're a family of 4. Jordan, why does it do that? Oh,
It's Jordan's fault.
Jordan.
Jordan doesn't know what she's doing, everyone.
But so if you're a family of four, let's say you got 2 kids and you have a mom and dad in theory, so you'd have like $1,600 to spend in theory,
Okay.
Because you've got 2 people, but still, like, it's expensive.
Okay. Well, and then
Okay,
here's
so-
the other question. What about tips?
I know that'll be something else that we cover. I'm sure I'll do tips soon because that'll come out next. This was the National Retail Federation on holiday spending, but tipping, I know,
You know who the one person that I tip is?
hairdresser.
The mailman. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're really not even supposed to tip that person. You're supposed to get like a gift card of like $30 max.
Yeah, there's like rules. They're not
Right.
supposed to take cash.
Because here's the deal. My mailman Kyle takes such good care of us.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and you have the mailman who walks door to door, right?
Yeah.
So do we. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Versus like in the suburbs where they drive and they just in your mailbox.
Oh no.
Like
This
my
guy.
parents' mail person will just drive up. Boop.
Oh, because it's at the curb?
Yep.
Okay. No. Kyle is getting his steps in on a daily basis, and he's the nicest guy in the entire world. And whenever we send him something, he always sends us a card back with
That's nice.
from like his family's Christmas.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I thought that was just super nice.
It is. I'm. Yeah. When you talk about the tips on top of it all, I'm trying to think. Like, hairdresser's a great one, a good example. The dog groomer, sure.
I have a question. Do guys tip their
Person.
barbers like that? Like you're giving your hairdresser a holiday present?
Yeah, my mom and I would always do that. Yeah.
Are any of the guys out there like, okay, haircuts are like $60 right now? If you're getting one of those haircuts like I am, are you? I mean, I tip my barber on every time I go to get a haircut, but like, are you giving a holiday present? I don't know. I've never even really considered that.
Okay, who to tip at the holiday? Quick AI search here. Housekeeper, hairstylist, babysitter,
Paula.
nannies, dog walkers, apartment building staff. So, like, if you had a doorman.
Yeah. Jordan, do you have a doorman? No.
Does
Okay.
any place in Buffalo have a doorman?
I don't know. Some might, if you're rich.
I don't have a doorman. I mean, I have like a maintenance guy. who,
Oh,
like,
maintenance
comes
guy, maybe.
everything,
Yeah, okay.
But I guess
Like a
that would be
concierge.
good.
Oh, maintenance
Yeah.
workers. It's on here.
There you go. But I
Sorry.
feel like for me, like a hairdresser, like I would just like give like an extra like added on tip in the holidays. So like instead of doing the normal whatever percentage I do, I'll just like add on to it for the holidays.
That's a good idea.
Oh, I like Danielle's idea.
Housekeepers.
Danielle says, "Oh, good, I'll tip myself."
Thank you.
That's funny, Danielle.
I don't know. So $890 is what we're all spending.
Noreen says,
and-
"I spend 200 plus on each of my kids, spouses, grandkids, great grandbaby." Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Right. Because if you're getting your spouse a couple of things, you're easily going to spend a couple $100.
Yeah, I feel like I spend that alone on Russ.
Right.
Lawn service person, Buffalo news delivery person. Marlene says, "I mean, like, how much
Right,
money are we
yup,
willing to spend on
yup.
tips here?"
Yup. I know.
I don't. I mean,
I know. It gets so
you know where I am on this.
It's so expensive.
Yes.
It does.
Like, I don't even tip my Uber driver. I know. I should. I know. I just never
It's
crosses
like
my
I told
mind.
you the other day, I had
So
groceries
bad.
delivered for the first time, but I get it for free for Target Circle 360. So the first time ever I got a little delivery, and then I tipped the driver after.
Can I ask a question? Do you tip these people? Because
I did.
it never crosses my mind.
It didn't cross my mind because it's the first time I've ever done it. And it did come to the door and it was very convenient. And then the next time I logged into my app, it was like, "Do you want to tip your person?" I was like, "Oh, shoot."
Paula says, if you don't tip, how else do you show your gratitude? Like, I am supporting the business and I'm thus giving you money then to pay your employees. Is that it? I mean, like,
Well, and you always tip your hairstylist,
Right.
Your barber. I don't know.
you should tip your Uber drivers. Danielle says, I know.
So too.
But I just don't it never crosses my mind because, like, I just get out of the car. Like, if I'm in a taxi before I pay, like, I've already paid essentially by hailing the Uber. Ma.
Seriously, Edward, tip your Uber. That's your mom.
Even if it's like a
cute little
dollar,
accent.
because also like they've said sometimes with Uber itself, like the way that Uber breaks down the cost of like you paying for the service and everything, not so much of that cash goes to the driver, it goes to the company itself.
Sure.
But they only get like a small fraction. I mean, for me, I just always do like the cheapest option possible with my Uber driver. I mean, which is I think going to the station like for work maybe like $1 or $2.
Remember when you
Okay.
guys all said Ed for president? Boo. He doesn't tip his Uber driver. See, this is why you can never be president. We
Amen to
come back and
that.
find this.
Peter says, I thought the tip was included in the cost.
Boo.
Well, but like, and so how else I don't even rate drivers either.
Oh, I always rate people.
I always rate people.
I
Typically,
don't-
I don't care like too much about like if it's like cigarette smell or like some of those like smaller things. Like I don't care about that. I mean,
Amenities.
Yeah, the amenities. Yeah, I mean as long as I get to where I need to get to safely without them getting into an accident or you
Yeah.
know driving on the road wonky.
Yeah.
I'll do like the quick little 5-star like icon. That's it.
Oh, okay,
Teresa
wait.
says, doesn't a reminder come up to tip the driver after the ride is over? I think so. I don't know. Does it? I don't really use Uber that much either. Like, I don't
Whenever
really go
you
out.
like get out the car, it like immediately like goes onto your phone and it's like, hey, rate your Uber driver and like
Maybe
give
I
an
just
extra tip.
X out of that screen.
Nice, Ed.
Sorry, everyone.
Okay,
Nice job.
Sarah has seen chatter on the Buffalo Moms group from people who deliver groceries. It sounds like the tip is their whole wage. Okay, so I should have done. So I did tip.
Okay.
Because I didn't know. I didn't know. But then you're
These are like newfangled
okay.
things
But
for
here's
us.
the other thing that was kind of weird. So you're tipping like a percentage so
of the
you were-
bill.
Yeah,
So if you've got
Right.
how much? What's the percentage?
it was like 10 or 20. Whatever.
You can't change that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure.
Do you
could.
change that?
I think.
Do you
Our
get
resident
groceries
Gen
delivered?
Z.
Do I get what?
Groceries and stuff like that delivered ever?
Oh yeah, I got groceries delivered.
And so, do you tip a percentage or like a dollar amount?
Percentage, I think. Maybe I should pull this back
So
up.
I
'cause
was
doing it right now.
surprised because I was like a percentage, huh?
Interesting. I
I
mean,
think it's a percentage on it. I was actually doing a little delivery earlier. So
Because that could be, and again, this is the first time I've ever done.
Paula says you don't have to tip a percentage. There's an option called
Or you can put a
other.
flat. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I have to do, like $5 or whatever.
Shirley
is that
says it can be
enough?
changed.
I don't know.
Again, I don't use these things very often.
Right, so I have never used it before, and then I was
Actually, it is for me. I use Walmart Plus.
Okay,
That's where I
yeah,
get my deliveries from. So for this option right now, it's giving me a dollar amount, but it says I can either do the specific dollar amounts that they give you for
Okay.
however much tip is,
'Kay.
no tip, or you do custom. So you
Okay.
put however much you want in there.
So, how much would you tip on a grocery delivery?
Howard says typically 10 to
Depends.
15% of your delivery bill.
I would say that amount,
Okay.
like 10%, I'd say.
Look at what
Like,
Sarah
it really depends
says.
on, again, how much I'm
Heavy
spending on it and
things.
also the distance as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
I try not to do delivery too often. Groceries are expensive. Tina says you can change it to
Right.
whatever you want.
Yeah, this was the first time I ever did it because I was like, oh, it's free from Target Circle of 360, and the person did a good job, so I gave him 5 stars, and then I gave him a little tip because I didn't know, but
I've actually never used Instacart. I've never used Instacart. I've never used Uber Eats. I've never
Yeah.
used.
this was the Target shopping or whatever it was. I have used the Wegmans grocery pickup if I've been busy, and
Never
then they
used
just
that
bring it to your
either.
car. And then, like, I don't think you're supposed to tip the people, but
You do.
I give them some dollars.
What about the
If I
person at
have.
Delta Sonic? Like if you're going through and you're driving, yeah, I give them a couple of bucks.
And I like, some people have said they can't take it. Some people, well, I don't know. I'm just like, you make the decision.
Catherine says you tip the people who load your car at curbside.
Right. Yeah, I do too. I don't know if they're supposed to. So if you're watching from Wegmans, I never did that.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe
I just
am
don't
I
wanna be that-
old? Like because I feel like
You're
I
just
remember.
cheap.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
No, you're just
For
cheap.
me, I'm not the biggest tipper either. Like the only people who I will tip are just a little small fraction for Uber drivers or Lyft, whatever option I'm using. The small amount for the Walmart deliveries and also my hairdresser. That's it. Like
Well,
I don't tip the maintenance guy really, except unless it's like a really like extensive like repair that he has to make, then I'll tip him. But if it's like something as small as
Yeah.
removing the AC out of my window, I'm not going to tip him for that.
Right.
So I mean, those are kind of my like 3 kind of core people I tip.
Well, I've been
And also, like any like delivery, like food delivery, I'll tip those people.
I've been
But-
yapping to my husband to get those ACs out of the
I knew
window for
exactly
a while.
where
No
you were
tip for
going,
him.
right.
No tip for him. I got a tip. Get him
the
out
air
of the
conditioner
window.
out. Here's my thought, and all of you are with me on this because I know that you're all of a certain age. We're old enough to remember tipping pre-pandemic, and
And that things have changed a lot.
right,
Well, but also like a lot of the
my mom.
delivery and stuff services have changed too. Like
right. My mom says you're your father's son. From your lips to Hashem's ears. We gotta go.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
Get out and vote.